everything that I was learning was immediately applicable to the classroom, and the children just made so much sense in their learning and just how they worked.
I'm Tiffany Hunt, and I am a faculty member in the special education program, both for the undergrad and graduate degrees, and I'm the program coordinator for both of those programs as well. We have an undergrad program that is a dual major in elementary education and special education, meaning that when students graduate, they can teach elementary K through 6, so as a general education teacher, and they can also teach special education K through 12, so all the way through 12th grade as a special ed teacher. This program is offered via distance as well as on campus, so you can take this program from anywhere. That doesn't mean that you might not be attending classes, so you might have Zoom sessions that you're required to be, quote unquote in person, even though it's not physically in person. But again, it's accessible to anyone that's in the state or beyond, really. But again, you can come to campus and take classes on campus. However, most of our special education courses are online or that kind of Zoom session, because we're again trying to support anyone that would want to join this program and become an educator.
It is really designed for people that are empathetic and give those students that may not have a voice, to give them a voice and better help them thrive and succeed as a student in a K through 12 setting.
So what do special education teachers find the most rewarding out of their career?
When I was a teacher, I found some of my absolute favorite students were the special education students. And I find the people who work with special education students agree. They are incredible people. There's really truly a beauty that's involved with that kind of student population. And having high quality teachers make sure that they're able to be successful and have a really high quality education is so critically important.
So what do students find the most exciting about this program?
Thank you for asking such a good question. One of the things I find students really care about this program is that this special education sequence, they really does an excellent job of preparing students well to become the best special education teachers.
You will get a lot of specific special education courses that look at different aspects of special education and special needs to better help those students.
The program essentially covers best practices in teaching for the elementary setting, of course, but then for special education, you're going to learn about special education law, you're going to learn about how to individualize instruction for students with disabilities, you learn about the disability categories that are covered under special education, and then you will have experience in the field in both of those areas as well, as a general ed teacher in elementary education, and then also as a special ed teacher in both actually the secondary setting and in the elementary setting.
Tell me about students' experience in practicum.
Yeah, so the practicum is where a student is in a classroom observing a mentor teacher. So one of the things that I really like about the practicum and what's really special about our program is that in the practicum, students are freshman year, sophomore year, immediately in a classroom with a mentor teacher observing a classroom. I had a student come to Practicum 1 and they really got to connect with some of the students, with the mentor teacher, and a couple of the special education students. And I found that they were just talking about how excited they were to be able to connect and how much they really fell in love with that student population, with the special ed students. That really got them thinking about what they really want to do and how they really care about this population.
So one exciting thing about the dual major in elementary and special education is that students are able to participate in the PREPARE program, which stands for Pre-Service Preparation Advanced Residency Experience. PREPARE is much easier to say. Most of our students will engage in student teaching for one semester, which ends up being 16 weeks. If you're a PREPARE student, however, and you join that program, you're able to be in a school for an entire year. So essentially, in the semester prior to student teaching, you take methods courses online, and you're placed in the building where you're going to student teach as a paraprofessional. So as a paraprofessional, you actually get paid by the district which is really beneficial to our students who have to take off work during student teaching, which is really hard financially. You are placed in the school, like I said, that you're student teaching in. So you work with your collaborating teachers, you get to know your students, you are a member of the community there, right? You have colleagues because you are hired as a paraprofessional. And then you get to see a school building at the very, very beginning of the school year, how it works, how you set up your new routines and classrooms and all of that piece. Then as you transition into the following semester, you transition into student teaching. But our Prepare students, they start teaching oftentimes almost immediately because they've already been in the building. They know the students, they know their teachers. And so they get a lot more experience actually teaching students because they don't need that kind of warm-up period of getting to know the classroom and observing a lot. They've already done that. And then they get to finish out the year. So they essentially get an entire year they get to see from start to finish in the school building. And it's wildly beneficial for them.
What's the job outlook for elementary special education majors?
That's the million-dollar question. There are some really incredible opportunities. One of them is because the world is so desperate and needs special education teachers, you're basically guaranteed a job straight out of this program.
I would encourage anyone that was going into elementary education to join this program. And here's why. Not only will you be qualified to teach elementary education, general education, and have your own classroom, but you will also be highly qualified to support students with disabilities in your classroom. Because every single classroom in Wyoming and beyond have students with disabilities in them. All teachers, every single teacher will teach students with disabilities. That might vary, the type of disabilities might vary, severity might vary, but you will have students with disabilities in your classroom. So if you are in this program, even if you don't necessarily want to teach special education, you will be better prepared to support all of your students in the classroom. And because special education is really just best practice in meeting the individual needs of students, you'll be able to utilize those skills to support any student within your classroom. And then those of you that want to be special education teachers, having this elementary piece is really critical as well, because then you understand the curriculum, you understand pedagogy, you understand some of those general education pieces that will make you a better special education teacher as well. So I think it's a program that as many students should do as possible, because I think it makes you a much better teacher. If you have more questions about the program, please reach out to an advisor in our College of Education or reach out to me. I'd love to visit with you.